Affects the emirate, its integrity and tradition and our values. So it's not my take, it's the take of the Sarauta. Sarauta is kingship. It has been in existence for about 1,300 years when Gobir started in Niger Republic, where you have Agadez now. They are the first set of Hausa people that introduced Sarauta. So since then, Sarauta has existed, and Sarauta has its own values and norms. People respect it because of those things. So, and what happened is total contravention of these norms.
Is the Emirate Council or the traditional rulership is not what it used to be in history. Before the different reforms and transformations that have trailed the institution, it used to be central to governance. Truth of the matter is, as we speak, traditional institutions do not play the same powerful and pervasive role they used to play in people's life. The institutions are merely ceremonial during festivities, announcement of sighting of the moon, and the rest. I do not see the removal of anybody or installment of anybody having any profound impact on the way people continue to live.
And Emma, who is reversing the decision of the former emir, not only the decision of the former emir, the late Ado Bayero, but the decision of the council. Not only the decision of the council, but decision that has been affirmed by the Supreme Court. Recently, the Supreme Court has affirmed that decision, that the person in question, that is Aminu Baba, should not be reinstated because of the insubordination, and the Supreme Court has affirmed that. So it is unfortunate that you have another emir to come today and reverse that decision. It is not surprising also because we know the institution has been politicized. It has lost the image that people know it with. It has been politicized right from the day the current state governor changed the law of the Emirate Council, that even the role of the traditional rulers who are respected in this part of the country, he doesn't even need their advice. He can only accept their advice when he asks them to advise the government. So that's the starting point of ridiculing the institution. And unfortunately, you have people, including the current emir, who have been the agent of the governor in reducing the image of the institution. That is the beginning of the politicization of the institution. And today, you have the current emir being used by the governor to reinstate somebody that has been removed by the council under the late emir Alhaji Ado Bayero, the respected emir. And this person is a strong and close political ally of the governor. So we know the decision is not surprising because the current emir has his allegiance to the governor who appointed him, not to the institution and not to the people of Kano State. And we know that is going to be very dangerous for the institution because we know the two past emirs of the state have sacrificed everything for the institution and for the people of the state.
That people have existed on them. Because Sarauta is about respect, it is about dignity of people, it is the identity of Hausa people. So this negates all these things that we have, in the sense that Serigne Kano Alhaji Ado Bayero deposed him because of insubordination. He went to the court. For 17 years he was in the court. and the court affirmed Sarkin Kano Alhaji Ado Bayero's decision, the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So how can the Supreme Court make such an affirmation and then somebody will come and contravene that affirmation when you look at it from the modern way? And then when you look at it from our tradition, it is wrong for an emir to reverse the decision of his predecessor, more especially if that decision was correct, like in the case of the present emir and his father. His father took the right decision, the Supreme Court confirmed it, and now he is reversing it. So this is a great setback for the integrity of the Sarauta institution.
That politics has infiltrated the traditional rulership. But the bottom line is, if you look at the extant laws governing the enthronement of traditional rulers, it subjects them to the authority of state governments. So therefore, a state governor always has an overriding power and influence over any traditional ruler. It is therefore inexpedient to expect that there will be any traditional ruler who will refuse to abide by the instruction of a governor.
There was no evidence, there was no truth whatsoever. Let's not even talk about evidence. There was no truth whatsoever that His Excellency wanted Aminu Baba to be turbaned back then. Like I said, the case at the Supreme Court ended few weeks back. That's very recent. And that is after the dethronement of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. So as you can see, the case ended even after he was dethroned. So there is no basis for him, for the governor to say that he wanted his friend to be made a district head or something like that, and then for the emir Sanusi to say no, he's not going to do that. Like I said, it's just that chapter is closed. We are in a new chapter now, and that's why we are trying to forge ahead in a united front.
This is an unprecedented decision. In other words, it has not happened in the past. The tradition has always been that when an emir removes a title holder or an office holder, hardly is such an office holder returned, be it in same position or any other position. But the truth of the matter is, traditional institutions, like all other institutions of governance that exist in human societies, they are subject to transformation over time. If we look at how the institution started way back in 1804 after the Jihad of Usman and Fodio, it has undergone tremendous transformations, and it will continue to experience transformation. It is therefore important to realize that a traditional institution can only remain relevant if it appreciates these dynamics of change.
Let me try and clarify one or two things. First of all, His Highness the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Baba Danagundi, and the Kano Emirate Council have decided to appoint, not reappoint, Aminu Baba Danagundi as the Sarkin Dawaiki Baba. Sarkin Dawaiki Baba is a new title. It is not the old one that Aminu Baba was occupying. It is a new one. It is borrowed from another emirate, I think from Emirate of Zazzau. And the Kano Emirate Council, as you are aware, not just Kano Emirate Council, but other emirates have, it is their prerogative to either borrow another traditional title from another emirate outside of their own, or to even create a new one. A number of new ones have been created. So this particular one, Sarkin Dawaiki Baba, is a new one. It is not part of the Kano Emirate traditional titles. It is borrowed from Zazzau Emirate to Kano State Emirate. And the council has approved this decision, not just that of Aminu Baba, but also that of Wamban Kano, the new Wamban Kano, who happens to be the former Chiroman Kano, Lamido Sanusi Ado Bayero. And the approval is being sent to the state government for the governor's approval to make it binding. So there is no contradiction in that. As like I said, is a new traditional title, but also to shed more light Sarkin Dawaki challenged his dethronement, which was based on political interference by him back then when he was the district head of Gabasawa, I think. And that was what led from one court to another up to the Supreme Court. It was because of political interference by him back then when he was a district head. That was the reason for his dethronement.
Finally, the emir himself is new on the throne of the emir, and everyone knows the acrimonies that have preceded his enthronement, and it is very important that it be appreciated. He has a responsibility to himself to bring people closer to him that will help strengthen his position, his grip on the throne, rather than just being blinded by traditional norms and customs.
But I think to speak to the reasons why he is being offered this new traditional title, I think what people need to understand, what the people of Kano need to understand, is that there has been a lot of divisions in the Kano Emirate Council since the passing away of our revered emir, late Ado Bayero. Since that time, there has been a lot of divisions, a lot of infighting, and what led to even the emir of the current emir of Kano becoming the current emir. And as such, one of the first things that he is trying to do as an emir is to try and heal old wounds, try and see how he can be able to unite the family once again, the Emirate Council, and see that everyone is being brought back to the same page.
The late emir was ever ready to defend his people. The 14th emir, the emir Memortaba Muhammadu Sunusi II, did all he could to protect his people, to protect the image of the institution. And we know this kind of request was before him by the governor of the state. But the 14th emir refused to succumb to the pressure of Governor Ganduje to reinstate Aminu Baba. So it is unfortunate that today we are seeing this serious setback for the traditional institution that people respect in the state. And we hope if there's a room for them to reverse this decision, it is better they do it before it is late, so that history will not blame them for what they have done to the traditional institution.